Let me tell you real quickly and introduce this team. This came about because we had 4 folks that we committed to send to Denver to participate in theory and practice training. Linda Barker and CEA invited multiple districts to participate. We jumped at the opportunity. We had these folks participate: Leanne Garcia from Durango High School, Diana Hill-Wright, Jeb Holt, and Neal Scholes participated in 6 days of training similar to what we're about to get today. Joining them in the meantime was Lori Clofer, who's now principal at Florida Mesa Elementary. Gretchen Wilson joined them, and I joined them this past weekend just to make sure that we had clear vision of what today was to be about. And so I want to bring them up and have them both introduce why they felt this was important, but also then introduce our great speakers for today. So if those 4 folks could come up and join us. UNISER contact here in Southwest Colorado, and Greg has been a phenomenal partner with us and really making sure that we're doing what we need to do to support you in the classroom. And so let me just take a moment to say thank you, Greg, for all your support.
Thank you. I first want to recognize Mr. Snowberger as being very brave. One of the things is he handed me this mic, and it's like handing a lightsaber to a Jedi. I'm not going to want to part with it soon. That said, I think we also all need our lightsabers out. There's a lot of elephants in this room, it sounds like. And he's very brave because he did trust us when we came back from our first 2 days of training and said, this makes sense. This is what we need. And one of the things we walked away with is going back to our roots. Why we are here. Why we do what we do. And why we became teachers. We have so much on how to do this, how to do that, how to write plans, all of that. And to me, it spoke to my heart to look back as to why I'm here. So I'm going to tell you a story close to my heart, and it dates me, but about why I became a teacher. And it was in high school, where NASA started the first teacher in space program. And I was just in awe of Kristen McCullough. And I thought, if they're going to put teachers in space, then I want to be a teacher. And we watched the Challenger launch, and were confused by the smoke before it even got out of the atmosphere. The explosion, the tragedy, the tears at epic failure just struck me. And I think sometimes we do fail, but we continue. And I thought, if teachers are the type of people who give their all and devote themselves for a higher cause, for helping students reach their dream, they give it all and they believe in it with their whole heart, then I want to be a teacher. And that's why I became a teacher. And you guys show it to me all the time while you're here. And I hope and you'll take time today to think about that. If teachers are the kind of people who take their schoolwork and their 4th grade reading to the hot springs, I want to be that kind of teacher. Love you, Dad.
And I just want to talk a little bit about why I felt so compelled to bring Peg and Linda here today and share what we were learning with all of you. I was struck that first day of the training when they went into depth as to the realities that we are preparing our children for. I've spent a lot of time abroad, and I just was abroad, and I saw some of those realities. And we've got to do better. We've got to work as hard as we can to get our kids ready to compete in this global marketplace, which is going to be so competitive we can't even conceive of it at this point. And I came back and I told Dan, it's about the kids. Everything we do, everything we think about, everything we plan for, everything we do in our classroom should be with the goal of getting our kids prepared to compete in this incredibly hyper-competitive world that we're preparing them for. And I got this from Peg and I got this from Linda, that's what this is about today, is what can we do as teachers to improve our practice for the benefit of the kids. And I wanted more than anything to have that shared with all of you.
Good morning. Hope I I'm not repetitive because I'm going to say some of the same things. It's such a common theme. When we first went to Denver, the 5 of us, including Ray, we came back with inspired that we could really, what we were doing could really change what we do in Durango 9R. And we went to Mr. Snowberger and we sat down with him, and then he went with us to the school board, and we sat there on election night. I was watching the results on my tablet. And we spoke to the school board, and the school board heard our story, and they agreed. And they agreed to allow us to have this day. Like Diana, I had a vision of education when I first started deciding to go back. It took a while to decide. And I'm sure we all have a vision of why we got into this profession. It's a good work. I believe that we possess a right livelihood, if I can use Buddhist terminology. It is good work that we do. We work with people and we're building the future. We sincerely hope that from today that we will find ground to share a common vision of what we're doing as educators and how kids today are different in this 21st century, and we need to adjust our style. I hope we can develop a common understanding of the importance of knowing the what and the how of what we do with the science and art of teaching. This is all based on research, the best research that is built up, and I'm sure that we'll hear all about this today. And this is all tied back to the teacher education effectiveness tool that we're all going to be, like Dan was talking about. This is a reality. It's about taking the power of what a great staff of teachers that we have here, what we're already doing, and doing it better. It's not adding something new. We do this as a profession, and as we do this, our professional development is going to look different because it's going to be based on what we're doing and how what we are doing in our classroom is improving for each one of us individually. And I just want to say, it's not rocket science. It's more than that. We are educators.
So before I introduce our presenters this morning, I wanted to kind of reiterate something that our team talked about that very first day when we sat around the table in Denver. And we were presented with a framework that I affectionately call, and I think I picked it up from Greg Lawler, the cake, which is how do we layer all of the work that we're already doing? Because what was a big ha-ha for us was, and I think what you're going to find today is that what you hear about isn't anything new. And so I challenge you as you listen this morning to think about and watch for parallels between what you're already doing in your classroom with the things that you hear about today, because it isn't new. We do know what we should be doing. It's just about how you put it all together in a nice, neat little package that then you can say, okay, I know how all these things work together. And as we were sitting there that first day and we kind of were presented with the framework, Greg Lawler said to us, hey, we need to be doing this in Durango. And we all looked at Greg and said, we are. We are doing this stuff. We're doing data teams. We're doing writing. We are using effective instructional strategies. We are working on our culture and climate and relationships in our schools. But we're doing these things sometimes in what feels like in isolation. And so I really hope that that's what you hear today and that you take back to your schools is really that we're doing all the right stuff. It's just we need to find some focus and clarity around the work that we're doing.